Destrehan State Championship preview is presented by Buckwalter Insurance and by Cypress Lakes Country Club and the Sports Pub and Grill in Destrehan. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Destrehan State Championship preview show. I'm Richey. So glad you're with us. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to dive headfirst into the Wildcats' return to the Superdome. We'll hear from some of the players, some of the assistant coaches that have made this run possible. But we start with the head coach himself, Marcus Scott, who has this team in the state championship game. Coach, congratulations, first of all. And I know this has been a hard-fought season. You guys have dominated, and then in the playoffs, some big wins over the last couple weeks. What's the feeling like now that you're over that semifinal hurdle into the state championship?
Well, it's very exciting for so many people. Our program is run and obviously operated by coaches and players, but there's so many people behind the scenes who sacrifice for us to be successful, and so it means a lot for the community, and we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Just hearing from the players, yourself, the coordinators, everybody around here had like a single goal from the beginning of the season, and it was win a state championship, not get to a state championship. What was that like, to kind of have that singular goal in mind and now to give yourselves that opportunity this Friday?
Well, it's always good to have high standards and goals and aspirations, but the toughest part as a coaching staff was for us to keep this group focused on the task at hand each and every week, because as we got later in the season, it was there's that tendency to look ahead and to start looking at who we might play at PowerPoints and brackets and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it was important for us to just stay focused each and every week.
This week itself, what is the mindset here at Destrehan to exactly go on your last point, to keep focused and to stay with that single mind intact, just to get ready for a very good Ruston football team?
Yeah, the focus is like it is each and every week. I start off each week with a PowerPoint presentation to kind of talk about key points, keys to victory, and those are the points that we try to drive home each and every week, just so we can stay on task and stay focused.
I want to talk about some of the dominating numbers during the Coach Marcus Scott era and the 3 years you've been back at Destrehan as the head coach. One thing that stands out right away is the fact that you've only lost one regular season game in the past 3 years. Over the past 3 years, you have not lost a game here at Wildcat Stadium, and this season you have outscored opponents 528-81. I guess of those three numbers, what kind of stands out, or maybe put them together, and what's the common denominator in those dominating numbers?
It all starts with the kids and the assistant coaches. They all sacrifice. We have a lot of kids on the team who sacrifice their individual numbers and their individual recruitment in order for us to have team success. And so they believe in the mystique of this place. They believe in the tradition and the pride. The community supports us, and so when they go out on that field, fighting Wildcat Stadium, it's just a feeling that the kids enjoy, and it's almost like a rush that they're looking for each and every week.
That team first mentality, and you brought it up, but it's been, it starts with the big guys, right? Jai Eugene and Shane Lee, Daniel Blood. All those guys could almost double their numbers if they'd have played in the second half of like 9 of your 13 games. But Anthony Robinson, a guy as well, right? He was a wide receiver as a freshman. You guys said it's going to be more valuable as a safety. And then even a couple weeks ago, St. John back at running back, and it was a big key in that game. I guess, tell me about that team first mentality, and even bring up some of those guys that we just mentioned and what they've sacrificed individually, as you said, recruitment wise, numbers wise, for the good of the team.
Well, in our society, it's about self-promotion. It's about being seen and that type of thing with the internet and with social media, and it's really as a tribute to these kids and their parents to have the team first mentality. And like you said, Shane Lee could probably be a 2,000-yard back if we gave him the ball 25 times a game. Daniel Budd is a 80-catch guy. Jai Eugene is probably ESPN 300 defensive back if he played it full time.
That's right.
So the list goes on and on. We've had guys who have continued to sacrifice for this team, and this is the payoff.
A big win over Dutchtown after the bye started the run for Destrehan. A rematch victory, 1-point win over East St. John in the quarterfinals. Then last week, right here at Wildcat Stadium, the 21-6 victory over Westgate. Now it's Ruston, who beat a very, very strong Zachary team to get to the Dome. What will be the key? And I know you mentioned earlier, you brought up the PowerPoint, you brought up the keys of the week. What can you share with us as far as what will be the key against Ruston?
Well, first thing we have to do is be great tacklers. They have a power run game. They are very talented. Their quarterback is a 3-year starter. We've faced them the last 2 years in the quarterfinals, and so we know what to expect. The next thing is you have to limit explosive plays down the field, and after that, the turnover margin will always be the key in any game. So if we can take care of the football and be great tacklers, we'll be, have ourselves in position to try to win at the end.
We're just getting started with head coach Marcus Scott here in the Destrehan State Championship preview show. We'll take a break. We'll let Coach Marcus tend to some other things. It's a very busy week for him. Obviously, we'll hear from some players from the Wildcats, some assistant coaches as we return on this 30-minute special to get these Wildcats ready for the Dome.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 It happens. So get all state. I'd be better protected from mayhem, like me.
The Sports Pub and Grill in Destrehan has it all. A great place to watch the game, daily drink specials, and you won't believe the food. From our fresh 10-ounce burgers, fully loaded baked potatoes, and great salads too, like taco salad and grilled chicken. Need something to rinse it down with? How about one of our refreshing daiquiris? A great atmosphere for the whole family. Just a few miles west of the airport. The Sports Pub and Grill, 3001 Ormond Boulevard in Destrehan. Welcome back to the Destrehan State Championship preview show. Pleased and honored to be joined by offensive coordinator Greg Boyne. Coach Greg, congratulations for getting back to the Dome. I know you've been there before. What's the feeling like when you find out, man, I heard the fireworks going off when the game was over last week. What's that feeling like?
Never gets old. It's exciting. Actually, we have a couple of guys on staff this year that have never been. So now, now that I'm kind of getting up there in age, it's kind of fun to watch their excitement. A couple of Coach Nakian came from Central Lafourche where they had lost. They hadn't won a game in 2 years. And
and now he's going to the Dome.
He's one of our 2 receiver coaches, and he was excited. And we got a coach that came over from Hornville, and he was on the team at Puka, in 17, 18. So he hadn't been in a while. So just to see those guys' excitement was cool.
And let me ask you about seeing Coach Marcus's excitement, right? Semifinal, knocking on the doorsteps, even at John Ehret. Now he's going to the Dome. What did you feel like for the head coach?
Well, Marcus and I have been friends since I worked with him at West Jeff. So we've got a relationship that goes back several years. And one of the things we talked about as far as Coach Taffy and I and the players, let's get him. You know, when we realized we were pretty good, that was one of the motivational things we used with the kids. You know, let's get Coach Scott
That's great.
to the dome, to the state championship game.
All right, let's talk about this offense. And obviously, Jai Eugene Jr. spearheads it at quarterback. The run option's so effective. He throws the ball well. He makes great decisions.
Right.
Let's start with your quarterback, who also could be one of your best defensive backs if given the chance.
Yep, he exemplifies everything that this program, you know, stands for. Unselfish. He has never once said, I'd rather not play quarterback, I'd rather go play my natural position. You know, something he grew up, of course, with his dad. He played, you know, playing the game backpedaling instead of going forward as a kid. He's a leader, extremely good kid. Teachers love him. You know, he's a role model up front. Quiet, you know, leads by example. And in the off season, you know, you could tell he was upset by what happened the last 2 years, and he worked his butt off to develop, you know, as a true quarterback. And he's got a couple offers as a quarterback. He wants to go the defensive back route, but he has a couple offers as a quarterback, you know. So that speaks volumes for his work ethic.
Reminds me a little bit of John Trey Kirkland at Letcher about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your running back, Shane Lee, and obviously he's the one, and deservedly so, that gets the credit. If you gave him the ball 20 times a game, he's going to have 2,000 yards at this point. But again, another unselfish player, averaging over 9 yards a carry. He's a beast. He's powerful. He gets into the end zone. Let's talk about Shane Lee and the other running backs that you have as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a by committee approach, and that kind of helps everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can include Jai in the run game also. Shane's a tank. I mean, he's since we've been watching him when he was at Albert Cameron in the 6th grade, and you know he's always been the best player, the guy. And just like Jai, the humility. You know, he's quiet, he's humble, he's for his teammates. When he scores, the first thing he does is, you know, goes to his offensive lineman. Trey Nixon has been with us for 4 years. He would be starting at most places.
Yes.
Brandon Freeman, who transferred here from Sophie Wright a couple of years ago, he's injured now, so he won't be playing Friday. Again, he'd be starting at most places. He averaged 11.3 yards a carry up until a couple of weeks ago when he got hurt. And then we have an H-back who transferred from Holy Cross, Christian Nunnery, who is maybe 5'7", maybe 160 pounds. And when I tell you, when he gets in to a defensive lineman, he moves him. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, the kids from Westgate, he was moving. Kids from East St. John, he was moving. He's undersized. He's a running back by nature. And, you know, we give him a few carries here and there, but he's embraced his role. He's taking, you know, kids like that are what, you know, when you get to a state championship game and you've been around, you know that it's not just the 4 and 5 stars. There's guys behind the scenes like the offensive lineman, like Christian Nunnery, doing their job.
No doubt.
Every play, every week, every day in practice, you know, and that's how you get there. You know, not just Shane and Jai and Daniel Blood, you know.
Daniel Blood, let's start with the receivers, with the Missouri commit, and talk a little bit about what this young man's been able to do. I know banged up a little bit, lost the punt returning duties. I don't know if he'll have those back at the Dome, but he had 6 returns, is that right?
6 returns
for touchdowns.
for touchdowns.
He scored 12 touchdown receiving. And again, a guy like Lee and Eugene didn't even play the second half many games.
Right, and once again, a great kid. You know, quiet, humble, maybe a little more vocal than the other two, than Shane and Jai. But every day he's out here. You know, he's the one who brings the energy to practice, both sides of the ball. He's the one who turns on the radio. You know,
Yep.
He's the one who gets the rest of the team going. And ability-wise, he's kind of not unknown, but he's kind of like Justin. And sometimes receivers here, you know, for us to be successful, we don't want a 1,000-yard receiver. You know, we want the ball spread around, 30 catches, 3 or 4 different guys.
Yeah.
If we have a 70, 80 catch guy, then usually we're in a lot of close games and we're playing more into the second half, or we don't have enough ability to spread around. With this group, you know, when you talk about Leslie Jefferson, when you talk about the 2 sophomores, Phillip Wright and Johnny Theo, you know, and we have KD Nicholson. When you talk about that group, the ball gets, you know, it's easier for Jai to spread around. You can throw to the running backs.
Yep.
You know, and it makes the offense run to not have one guy that everybody can key on.
Offensive line, give us the names of the guys that have made the holes, protected Jai, given him time to hit those talented receivers throughout the season.
Christian Martin, Landry Cannon, Perez Alexander Hamilton, Jace Mitchell, and Mike Reed. Those 5 guys You know, linemen, unsung heroes.
Yep.
Same thing. I'll tell you what's great about this group, and it starts with those 5 up front, is practice.
Yeah.
They come out every day, and they'll probably laugh when they hear me say this, but they come out every day because I'm on them pretty hard about how they practice. They come out every day and bust their butts and get after the defense and go, 100 miles an hour and collisions are a common occurrence at practice when you have our O line and our D line going at it. So it's fun.
All right, your offense against the Ruston defense. Set us up. What's going to have to happen for the Wildcats to be successful on your side of the ball?
Yeah, but we've struggled the last couple of weeks in executing, for different reasons. And, Daniel's injury, certainly, I think Jai's taking a little time to adjust. And this week, you can kind of see the light go on, and Daniel's back out a little bit more than he was. And he should be, according to Coach George, our trainer, he should be good to go, 100% in the dome. So that'll help. But very good defense, solid across the front. All the guys look kind of the same, 6'3", 6'4", 240, 250. Very active off the ball. The linebackers can run and tackle. Secondary, they do enough things to where you have to, Jai's going to have to, make sure that he goes through his reads and goes through his progression. Very, very solid defense. Very well coached.
Final question for you. Let me ask you what this means to you. We've talked about what it means to the program, what it means to your head coach, what it means to the players. What about for Greg Boyne? What does going back to the Dome mean to you?
Again, and every coach that's been there would probably tell you the same thing. Once you get there, it's very addictive, to be part of the experience of going to the Dome. And we're kind of disappointed that the older guys that have been there, the state took away the Thursday walkthrough. And that's usually a good day where you can get the kids in and relax, more relaxed atmosphere.
And VSN can go in and do interviews, get great shots. I hate that that's not happening.
Right, and it stinks for the kids, but I'm sure that they'll let you say had their reasons. But as me personally, I'm the old guy. When I look around the offensive staff room, I'm like, all right, maybe it's getting close to time. But I'm more excited for the kids, because this group there was only 3, Jai and Daniel. And the 2 defensive kids, Leonard and Kevin Adams.
That played in 19.
That were on the turf in 19. So they're the only 4 that were there. So to say that this group's been there is really not accurate. The majority of them haven't. So again, last week, when we won that game against Westgate, which was a war, to see their excitement was awesome. Not personally, I love going back. It's fun. But at my age, I like seeing the young guys. I like seeing their excitement, and I couldn't be happy for everybody involved in the program.
Before I let you go, props to Riley, your daughter, a freshman at Southeastern, getting to go to the NCAA tournament, playing significant minutes in volleyball. That means at least 3 rotations.
Right.
But what an experience for her to play at Minnesota.
Definitely, very exciting. She definitely got all of her volleyball talent from me. And make sure you put that somewhere on.
Yeah.
But no, it's awesome. It was awesome. I was a little bitty freshman, and I'll tell you what, kudos to the upperclassmen at Southeastern. Those upper class ladies took care of her. She was struggling at one point, wasn't playing much.
Yeah.
And they said, look, you can play, you just have to get to where the coach trusts you.
Yeah.
That's the same thing my wife and I were telling her. You're a freshman. Shut up, work hard, and do what coach tells you. So
that's it.
It was exciting for us.
Well, good luck to you Friday. We appreciate it. Well done throughout this season. We didn't even look at the numbers. I told some of the numbers when we had Coach Marcus on. We'll see you at the Dome on Friday.
All right, definitely. Thank you.
Oh, it's a great feeling. I'm happy for the kids, most importantly, and I'm happy for Coach Scott as well. But it certainly is a business trip, and we're not satisfied just to make it there.
Tell me about this defense and what makes this Wildcat defense so good.
Well, I think, first of all, I think the guys, guys like Leonard Harris and Kevin Adams, they've been starting on defense basically since they were freshmen. So they have a ton of experience back there, and they provide leadership for the younger guys. With that leadership and that experience, that's a hard combination to beat.
Tell me about break it down. Give me kind of your linebackers and your defensive line as well.
Okay, Drew Schaefer, he's a senior. This is his first year starting. He got some quality playing time last year, but he's done a great job this year. And then we have Arrington Adams at the will linebacker. This is his first year starting as well. But Arrington has seemed to improve every week and, doing a great job for us. And then our defensive line, you have Amari Johnson, Jaron McCall at nose guard. And then on the other side, you have Raekwon Dupree. And those guys are playing real well together. And then, of course, you got outside linebacker there and Kalaj Cobbins, who is a great player, a lot of talent. And he's certainly always focused in. And again, one of our leaders, one of our quiet leaders.
Tell me about, I know we talked about Kevin and Leonard. Tell me about your other defensive backs.
Okay, we have Trevon Thomas at one cornerback and Jacoby Green at the other. Both have been starting for at least 2 years. Got good quality playing time when they were sophomores as well. And again, those guys together on that back end, they're friends, they work well together, they gel together. And again, those are the guys that really lead us right there.
Your defense against their offense. And I know Ruston is a team you've seen in the postseason a couple times here recently. How do you see that matchup, even on paper? Give it to us. What does it look like for you as a defensive coordinator preparing for their offense?
Well, certainly they're, they play like an old school brand of football. They're going to line up with at least one tight end, a lot of times two tight ends and 22 personnel, two tight ends, two running backs, and they're going to try to pound the football. They're going to run power. They're going to run ISO. They're going to run toss. And then, then the next moment, they'll take those guys out and they'll be in a spread offense. So they certainly give you several things to prepare for and several things to be ready for.
Last question. When people are watching the game Friday, you guys on the big stage playing at the Dome, what do you want people to know about your defense or your team or yourself, or just kind of open mic here? What's going to be going through your mind, and what do you want people to know about what you've done here at Destrehan?
Well, for one thing, these guys have certainly put in a lot of time. It all starts in January, and we come and, we're flipping tires and taking the sledgehammers and hitting the big tires as well, and we're going through all our Speed City stuff after that. And then in the summer, we're here 4 days a week, working real hard. So these guys have put in a lot of time, and they have earned everything they have gotten, and hopefully they can earn one more.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 It happens.
So get off stake. I'd be better protected from mayhem, like me.
The Sports Pub and Grill in Destrehan has it all. A great place to watch the game, daily drink specials, and you won't believe the food. From our fresh 10-ounce burgers, fully loaded baked potatoes, and great salads too, like taco salad and grilled chicken. Need something to rinse it down with? How about one of our refreshing daiquiris? A great atmosphere for the whole family. Just a few miles west of the airport. The Sports Pub and Grill, 3001 Ormond Boulevard in Destrehan. Back here at the Destrehan State Championship football show, Leonard Harris, Kevin Adams. Let's talk about this secondary and what a year it's been for Destrehan. We talked to you earlier in the season. You guys were difference makers then. What's it like to be such a force on this football team and get your team to the Dome?
It means a lot. We take pride in, getting defensive stops, and we know that'll help our team in the long run, so that's what we try to do.
Last week, a big interception late that you had kind of sealed the deal against Westgate. Tell me about that play and kind of what you saw, because I saw the highlights and you broke on the ball. It looked like you saw it pretty well.
Yeah, they ran the same play like 2 plays before that, and I was a little late to it, so I knew it was going to come back eventually, and it happened to be on 4th down we needed the most.
4-year starter, right? You've been here
Yes,
for a
sir.
while, so 2019, you got a taste of the Dome.
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about that, and what have you told your teammates that weren't so fortunate to be playing on that team?
Just knowing that, it's going to be one of the biggest games of our life once again. Just got to make sure the game not bigger than them. And I ain't played much my freshman year, but the atmosphere going to be different, and this is going to be a game.
Hand that mic to Kevin Adams, and let's talk about your play. During the playoffs alone, I think you have 3 interceptions, right? An interception in every game in the playoffs, Dutchtown, East St. John, and then last week against Westgate, you went pick 6. Tell me about that.
When we watch film, they like to hit on the seams a lot, and they didn't really hit it during the whole game. So I knew it was going to come eventually when they needed to pass the ball because we stopped the run. Then I just made the play.
How would you describe your defense? From the secondary, your linebackers up front, collectively as a whole, how would you describe Destrehan's defense?
I feel like we complete. I feel like we're one of the best defenses in the state, if not the best defense in the state.
What about this game Friday against Ruston, a team you're kind of familiar with, right? You've seen them in the playoffs the last couple years. Tell me about their offense and what you need to do to slow them down and be successful.
We need to play assignment football, and we're ready for it.
Excellent, excellent. All right, I guess in passing, what do you want people to know? I'll open mic for both of you. What do you want people to know about Destrehan football as you're going to be on the big stage at the Dome on Friday?
We coming for it all.
I like it. You like it? All right.
It's definitely been a long road, overcoming certain obstacles and, just bonding with my teammates for this long has been awesome, man. I'm just finally, glad to get to the moment and finally play at our goal in the Dome. As overall, I'll say we're very balanced. We can run it, we can throw it. I have, a great offensive line, great running backs, and great receivers. I have guys that can do it all at each spot, so I'm just blessed to have those guys around me. I always want to see guys do better, and for myself also, but I just take pride in being a leader, man, and helping people out around me, and obviously whatever it takes to win, quarterback, defense, whatever it takes to win, that's what I'm here for. My dad is Jai Eugene Sr. He kind of went through the same thing I went through here, playing quarterback and cornerback at the same time. He actually didn't get to play in the state championship, and I think that's why I beat him out in high school, but he had a great career, man. He went to LSU, won the national championship there, and things was just great for him on the football then. I want to say we're a bunch of hungry young men that waited our turn when we were ready to play.
Well, last year we came up short, and this year we've been working since basically January, and we've been saying that this year we're going to the Dome and we will win it. To see everybody motivated to actually go to the Dome and win it is it feel good because everybody got the same mindset. We all rely on each other. Everybody got these different abilities they contribute to the team, so we just rely on each other.
Amazing. It's been a fun 4 years. Just going at my freshman year and finally going back is really exciting. Well, the excitement is always there. We've played them the last 2 years, so we're very familiar with them, and just playing them again is going to be really fun and exciting being our last year here. Well, from a young age, we've always been team. And with this team, it's a lot of time, dedication. We used to we're high schoolers and just missing a lot of time being here, just a lot of unselfish people here. And for example, Jai, he could be the #1 DB in the state probably, but he's selfish, he sacrificed that to help this team win. My brother's name is Harold Blood Jr. He's a quarterback at Southern University. And he's always told me you have to work hard to be in this program, and just about how the coaches are, how they develop you, and how they prepare you for greatness, basically.
Excellent. Anything you want people to know when they're watching Destrehan Friday, they're watching that game, you're on the big stage, what do you want people to know about you and your program here?
Just get ready for a show.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 It happens. So get off stake. I'd be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Back here to wrap up the show, as promised, head coach Marcus Scott rejoins us. We touched on it in the first segment, Coach, but I know it's all business for you. You're preparing for a big game Friday, but personally inside, all the work that you've done, all the near misses, even to John Arrett in 2018, the first 2 years here in the semifinals, to get into that state championship, what does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me personally because, we tell the kids all the time that, not to give up, to persevere, to keep going.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times it's easy to say. But when you face so many disappointments through the years and getting so close to something that you've been working for over 20 years, and to finally break through is pretty special.
7:30, whatever time that they kick off on Friday night, you walk your team out onto the floor of the dome. What's going to be going on inside you?
Well, I want to be able to relax and think about X's and O's, but I do know that it's not going to be just X's and O's on my mind. I want to be able to go out and represent, not only the school, but this entire community that will be, in attendance and hoping that you do well. So, from that perspective, it'll be pretty gratifying.
I know we're not doing game plans. We're not going to talk about necessarily keys, but executing, I guess, and it's what Coach Boyne talked about offensively. Just overall, what do you need to see from your football team Friday to be successful?
We have to be able to match their physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be the key. Every time we play them, it's always a physical ball game, and it always comes down to turnover margin, missed tackles, and explosive plays. So those are going to be the three things that we focus on.
Open mic, last question of the show. What would you like people to know about your program, your team, what you've established here, the culture? Again, you're going to be on the big stage Friday. A lot of people are going to be watching your team. What do you want them to know while they're watching the game?
I want people to understand that our coaching staff, they care for kids outside of football, and that whenever we coach a kid, that it's a lifelong commitment that we make to those kids on and off the football field. And so that type of mentality is critical. Whenever you want to have a successful program, you have to be able to establish those relationships and have truly meaningful relationships with the kids outside of athletics. And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I want people to be able to leave that stadium, whether we win or lose, and be proud of the product that we put on the field.
Well, you got some great talent, and you got some great young men as well, and getting to know them throughout this season as well. Coach, I know a lot of people are happy for you. We echo those sentiments of VSN. Best of luck to you Friday. Thanks for letting us do this show, and go Wildcats.
Thank you.
This Destrehan State Championship preview is presented by Buck Walter Insurance and by Cypress Lakes Country Club and the Sports Pub and Grill in Destrehan.